Welcome to Sense and Nonsense A to Z, where we pick topics based off of the letter of the day. Today is episode 4 of season 1, featuring the letter D.
We're family and we're your hosts, AT and Z. So let's get started. I'll begin with Dia Dweet.
Really? What language is that?
It's Irish.
Is it?
Yes, it is. So we got to remember that for St. Patty's Day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dia Dweet.
Dia Dweet. Nice.
Yeah. So what's going on, Z?
Did you watch The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel? Season 4 is out.
Most certainly did. The 2 episodes that they just released and only are releasing this week.
I only watched 1.
Okay. What'd you think?
I am worried. She was the least funny.
It's getting mixed reviews.
Yeah.
I even checked the reviews online on Amazon, and it's a mix.
When Joel and Abe are the funniest in the show.
Abe was good too. Yeah.
You know, and those were very small little parts, but yeah. I'm worried. I don't really like the direction that this is taking so far. It could change. I'm giving it a shot. I'm willing to give it a chance.
I hope it does. Yeah.
But
yeah. Oh, I'm not
the
giving
temper
up.
Tantrum that turned me off. Yeah, I didn't like that. Yeah. She's grown. You're a grown woman. You're a mother. Are you serious? You're having a temper tantrum? Yeah, great.
Well, yeah. I know. You know, there was so much of a buildup because it's been 2 years.
Yeah.
With the pandemic, it's been 2 years, and they're just releasing only 2 episodes. So it's like, I know. But yeah, I watched both, and second one is getting someplace, but it's a little slow. Yeah. So we'll see.
All right. Well. Yeah. So AT, I know we had talked about this before, never on the recordings, but we were having discussions regarding the difficulties we were having making decisions over the last couple of years due to COVID, due to age, whatever. And I was just wondering if now that we seem to have a little bit better of a handle on the whole COVID situation in our daily lives, if you were finding that it was easier to now make some decisions.
Yeah, I would say it's easier now than it was, the past 2 years. That's for sure. You gain more confidence too, the more information you have, and we have information now.
Yeah.
So
and it's not changing all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. How about you?
I am finding the day-to-day easier. I am finding that I don't have any big decisions to make, but I'm finding
thank God.
Yeah. That the normal decisions that I had,
which were tough,
but manageable, are not so paralyzing anymore. I'm not riddled with anxiety over having to make these decisions.
And it's the little decisions like, do I go to the grocery store today or do I go tomorrow? And then it's like, well, maybe I'll go tomorrow. No, maybe I'll go to, no, it's better to go to, no, I need it today. That's ridiculous. I know
it is. I'm finding it much more easy to move in the world, to make decisions about things.
Right.
Just general. And I feel like I'm not so tired all the time as well.
I'm still tired.
I'm still tired.
Sick and tired.
Yeah. Well, that's true. But by the time my day gets rolling, I actually feel like I'm rolling with it rather than I'm slogging along. So, and I feel that is a direct result of having some of that anxiety lifted.
Yeah. It's all about the brain.
It is. It is. I don't feel like I'm constantly in that fight or flight mode anymore.
Yeah. Ten questions, D edition. You ready?
Oh, okay.
Okay. So you have some decisions to make.
Okay, great.
This is courtesy of Jimmy Fallon. When cutting a sandwich.
Yes.
Diagonally or horizontally?
Diagonally.
I believe that too.
That is the correct way to cut a sandwich.
This is correct. You like those angles. I mean, it's a prettier presentation, number one, right?
Absolutely, but it's easier to eat.
Yeah, the angles fit your mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it.
Okay.
Always.
Question number 2.
As a matter of fact, one time my mother gave me a sandwich cut in the middle because that's how she likes it, and I refused it. Yes, she was so mad at me, but I'm like, I can't eat that. That's wrong. I can't eat it like that.
This is wrong. Oh man. Oh, what's your favorite sandwich? And this is not part of the 10 question. What's your favorite sandwich?
My favorite sandwich is a sandwich I cannot eat anymore because I am now allergic to tuna fish. It was my favorite.
Peanut butter and jelly.
No.
Yes, still to this day, it's peanut butter and jelly, my favorite sandwich. Okay, so question number 2.
Yeah.
Duct tape or masking tape?
Duct tape.
And with duct tape, did you know that there is an annual duct tape festival?
Oh my God, I'm not surprised. They make so much stuff out of duct tape. I've seen wallets made out of duct tape.
That's the whole idea.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea. Dresses.
Yeah.
So since 2005 in Avon, Ohio, there's a parade with the giant duct tape, everything, sculptures, floats, fashion, vehicles covered in duct tape, all that stuff.
Awesome.
All right. Question number 3. When at a bar, darts or pool?
Pool.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
It starts for me.
Oh yeah, pool.
Yeah. Okay. Question number 4.
Okay.
Dunkin' or Starbucks?
Dunkin'.
Yeah, for me too. What is the best day of the week?
Friday.
Oh, okay. I get it. I get why. All right. Crossword puzzles. Downwards or crossed?
Down.
For me too. All right. What do you currently own that you really should donate?
Clothes.
You have some clothes that you really should donate? Yeah, I think I do too. All right. Disney Plus, is it worth it?
I think so.
Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Absolutely.
And here's my last one. Dogs or cats?
Oh.
Hard question, right? I like them both.
I have both. I think at this point in my life, I would say cats because they are just generally easier to take care of. And I need that because I've got a high maintenance child.
Yeah.
So cat.
I meant kitty cat.
Yeah. Although my cat is proving to be somewhat high maintenance now at this point.
And some cats act like dogs anyway. So
that's fun. That's a fun little segment.
Yeah. All righty. So I have some sense and nonsense for you. You ready for these?
Yeah.
All right. Greyhounds are the fastest dogs. Sense or nonsense?
Sense.
You're correct. Greyhounds can run as fast as 45 miles per hour.
Ooh.
Making them the fastest dog. Yeah.
That's crazy. 45 miles an hour is
very fast. That's very fast. That's why they race them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sense or nonsense? The world's oldest breed is a Pharaoh hound.
Sense? Did Egyptians have dogs?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, okay.
They did. Yeah. Dogs were painted in tombs in ancient Egypt, and they appeared to look like a Pharaoh dog. However, the DNA studies have shown that they're only about 200 years old. So the belief is that the oldest dog is a Saluki or an Akita. An Akita? I was like, really? An Akita?
Akitas are nasty. They can be nasty.
Yeah. Yeah. So you could see this whole thing has to do with dogs. D.
Yeah. So are you saying I was wrong? I was wrong.
Yeah.
They're only 200 years.
Yes.
Now.
Yeah. I would think that the Pharaoh dog would probably have been the oldest one too.
Why name it the Pharaoh dog? How is it the Pharaoh dog? Is it Pharo?
Pharaoh as in Mia Farrow.
Or as in the Pharaoh root or something like that. Oh, where the heck did they get this name?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's misleading. False advertising.
It is. Okay. Our last question. Did Rin Tin Tin win the Academy Award?
I hope not.
Oh, why not?
Come on.
He did not. Even though he was the biggest movie star in 1927 and got the most votes, the Academy wanted their newly created awards to be taken seriously. So they disqualified him and made him ineligible. And then the guy who got the second amount of votes got the Oscar. I thought that stunk.
I'm sorry, but I agree. If you want an animal category, make an animal category.
But he was an actor. Look over there.
He was a trained
Tintin.
Oh my God. No. I don't agree.
Hey, and by the way, I did a little research. Remember we had mentioned during cats about the nose print being unique? Yes. It is true. It is true for dogs too.
Score. All right.
Yeah.
All
okay.
Right.
I love a little couple of tidbits real quick. Calvin Coolidge owned at least a dozen dogs in the White House.
Wow.
Yeah. Lyndon Johnson's beagles were named him and her.
That is lazy. That is just lazy.
Yeah. And the last tidbit I have for you is Lassie was the first animal inducted into the Animal Hall of Fame in 1969.
Well, she deserved it.
And she did. And so did Tintin.
Oh, what? But he didn't deserve an Academy Award. Get the heck out of here.
Whatever.
Okay. So my son's favorite cartoon is Phineas and Ferb. And the creators of Phineas and Ferb did another show called Milo Murphy's Law.
Okay.
And in that show, there is a dog. And the dog's name is Dog. And it took me, I must have watched this show for 6 months until I realized that Dog is D-O-G. Talk about having brain cloud from COVID. I kept thinking about it. I'm like, there must be something to this name of this dog, right? Because the captions, we always have the captions on because I'm hard of hearing, and they spell it Diogee.
Oh, okay. So yeah.
So I'm looking at Dog. I'm like, what is going on with this dog's name? And then just one day, I think I was just making a sandwich or something, and I'm like, oh my God. And I'm gonna
diagonally.
Of course. Every time, even if it comes from like the sub shop and it's a sub, I cut it diagonally.
There you go.
It has to be that way, but especially like grilled cheese, any kind of sandwich like that, diagonal.
Yeah. That was a little tidbit.
Yeah, little funny thing, little silly thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you like those 10 questions?
They were fun.
Yeah.
Did you like how fast I answered them?
Very much so.
Decisions, baby. I'm back.
Oh man. How about we do pet peeves?
Great.
All righty. Can I start?
Sure.
All right. Mine is daylight saving time.
Oh yeah. Good one.
Which is right around the corner. It's on March 13th.
Is it?
Yeah. The old spring ahead, fall behind routine was originally to save energy and make better use of the daylight.
Okay.
The Canadians started this.
Really?
Yeah, our friends up north started this.
Oh man. Well, you know, I can
1908.
maybe see why, because they're further north and they might actually need this.
Well,
it messes us up.
As a matter of fact, it triggers underlying health issues.
Oh, perfect. Well, I know the day after it happens in the morning, there are a ton of accidents because people are not accustomed to it. They're supposed to be sleeping during this time.
Sure. And 33% of Americans like it. So the majority of Americans do not like this. I mean, I hate it. I cannot recover that hour. It's crazy. It takes me days to recover.
Oh, it takes a good week for us to get used to it. And what really,
I would say so too.
Yeah. What really stinks about it is if you have a child who you now have to wake up earlier, that is an unpleasant day.
Yeah. It's very hard. That transition is very hard.
Yeah.
There's countries one by one that are discontinuing it. Samoa just discontinued it.
Well, good for them. Do you know Arizona doesn't observe?
I don't think they ever did.
No, they are always on their own time.
And is the other one? I think there's 2 states. I think it's Hawaii is the other one too. Yep.
Well, we should all get on board with that because it's useless to do it. We don't need it. We have electricity.
It's going to screw up our computers because they're all programmed to be going back and forth.
Well, even
still, fix it. Just fix it.
They had a meltdown over the year 2000 too, and everything was fine. I'm sure it would be perfectly fine to just do an update to everybody's computer and tell them to not observe daylight savings time anymore.
Exactly. Or I don't care. Observe one or observe the other one. Just pick one and stop this back and forth routine because it's so destructive.
I agree. I don't like it either. Just tell me what time it is and I'll deal with it from there, but don't change it constantly on me.
Yeah. How about you? Did you come up with a pet peeve?
Drivers and driving. There's a couple of things that go along with this. Number one, I feel that the majority of people, they don't develop this as a skill, really. And it's actually amazing that we don't have more accidents than we do, because every time I am on the road, I see something that could be an accident potentially.
Oh, sure. Mayhem.
It's mayhem. It is mayhem. I love him, by the way. I love
do
him.
Too. Yeah.
And they tell you, you shouldn't drive while distracted. Mm-hmm. Life is a distraction. If you cannot drive while you're distracted, you should not be driving.
Don't drive. Yeah. You have to multitask, turning your heat on, rolling your window down,
putting your windshield wipers on,
right? Your blinker,
anything.
You have to multitask when you're driving.
I always felt when you take a driver's test, you should have to be drinking a cup of coffee, fiddling with the radio. They should have to give you things like, okay, turn on the heat, turn on your windshield wipers. The baby just dropped their pacifier and you got to get
it. Yeah. I'm going to sit in the back seat and distract you, so you drive. Go ahead.
Right. If you cannot drive with a million distractions going on, you do not belong on the road, because that's what happens. That's life.
Yeah.
And, as you grow up, it just gets worse. You have kids, you have a pet in the car doing something that's not supposed to be doing, trying to jump on your lap or, doing something or screaming or whatever it is. I am sorry. If you can't do this, then you shouldn't have a license. Don't drive while you're distracted. No, I mean, I agree. Don't be texting while you're driving or reading an article on your phone. Give me a break. But the whole don't be on the phone thing, they've done tests and studies about this and whatever, and it's because you can't see the person. Well, when you're driving, you're not looking at a person that's in your vehicle anyway. You're listening to them talk to you and you're responding. My second point about this is somehow when people get behind the wheel of a vehicle, their whole personality changes.
What do you mean?
You can take mild-mannered people, put them behind the wheel of a car.
They get aggressive?
And they get aggressive.
No.
Suddenly, if there is a space that their car can fit in front of yours, they must put that car there.
I must take that space.
Yeah, it has to. You cannot leave any space. This is especially true on like highways, or if you run up on somebody and they happen to not be going as fast as you are, it's almost kissing that person's bumper to intimidate them, to get them out of the way so that they will move so that you can go. Or people who sit in a left doing 60 and a 70. It's like, get the hell out of that way. There are so many things that drive me crazy about driving. People who don't know how to merge. People don't know how to negotiate a four-way stop.
How about parallel parking?
Well, you don't have to do that anymore. Cars do it for you because people are so lousy at it. They had to design
some cars
to parallel park. Once we get our licenses, by and large, people stop working on this skill. And it's a mistake. It's a big mistake, because the thing that you're driving is a weapon. Yeah. And too often, too late, people realize that.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's my pet peeve for the letter D. That was my rant. Thank you very much.
We have a new section. It's called a rant. The letter D. Mm-hmm. What my brain was remembering was when I was young, somebody was parallel parking and they bumped the car in the front. Then they back up and bump the car in the back. And then they parked. And I remember going up to the person. It's like, you hit both cars. Yeah. It's like, what do you mean? I was like, you tapped both cars. Yeah. And they said, oh, that's how I parallel park. It's like,
that's not how you do it.
That. You shouldn't be doing that. This is a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
And I think that was a thing, was that people would bump, and then they knew where the where the parking space was, and that's where they parked.
No, you're not. Yeah. You're not supposed to touch another vehicle with yours.
No, not a thing.
No, not a thing.
We mentioned that we were going to talk about one of my favorite movies, Letter D.
Yeah.
And this is one of my top 10 favorite movies, is Dave.
Yeah.
Was from 1993, and it starred Kevin Kline and Sigourney Weaver.
I love Sigourney Weaver.
Oh, I do too. Okay. She's so good. I love Kevin Kline too.
Yeah, I like him very much, but I love Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah. I mean, everybody remembers him in A Fish Called Wanda.
Well, he was great in A Fish Called Wanda.
He was just wacky in A Fish Called Wanda. But this movie had just so much story, and it had so much substance. And it was funny. And I do love comedies. That's my favorite. But I loved the stories behind it. So did you ever have a chance to watch it?
I did watch it, yeah, because I knew you dug it, so I watched it.
I dig it.
I know.
What'd you think?
I liked it.
Yeah,
I liked it. It would not rank in my top 50.
No,
but but I liked it.
I'm going to say my favorite part is when he called his friend Murray, who's Charles Grodin, to the White House, and just the looks on Charles Grodin's is like, should we be doing this?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, we're going to try to cut the budget so we can pass this one homeless project. And the collaboration, I mean, obviously my favorite part is the very end.
My favorite part is the cutting a budget scene when he's actually in the room and he's calling on all these people to justify their gross mishandling of this money. And there's all those cameras there.
Yeah.
And he's got this like captive audience. Like they can't exactly tell him no because it's being documented.
Are you going to tell the homeless kids?
Yeah. Are you going to tell the 8-year-old that he can't have a place to sleep because you want to make people feel better about their cars
that they already own?
Yeah. So I like that. I like that part very much. But at the end, when the jig is up kind of, and Sigourney
they
Weaver,
come up with that whole plan.
Yeah.
That was really good.
That was really cool. And, that wrapped everything up pretty nicely in a nice little bow. But then when Sigourney Weaver comes to visit Dave at his office and she sees that he's campaigning now for councilman, he takes her into the office and they start kissing and everybody's standing there like just gawking at them.
Yeah.
And then he like realized that everybody's looking at him. So he closes the blind. And then Ving Rhames comes and he just stands right in front of it. It was classic. It was classic.
It really was. And how about when he said to him that he would take a bullet for him?
Yeah, that was a really touching moment.
That was really good.
Yeah, that was really touching.
Yeah, I like him too.
I do too. I do too. Yeah.
I love that movie. Like I said, I've seen it so many times.
I like the shower scene. And he's in the shower.
Turn around.
Yeah.
Turn
and he's
around.
like, he's like hugging the wall.
Look at me when you talk to me. Turn around.
Yeah,
she's really good.
Yes, she is. All right, should we go into our favorite actors?
Sure. Let's do that. Let's do that.
All right. Do you want to go first?
Okay. My favorite actor, letter D. It's Denzel Washington.
Great actor.
He's unbelievable.
Great actor.
Unbelievable. How many movies has this man done?
Tons. And as a matter of fact, he is in one of my top 10.
Oh,
movies.
No kid.
Yeah,
really?
absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
Which one?
Remember the Titans.
What a great movie.
Great movie.
That's, you know what? I got to agree with you. That's probably my favorite Denzel Washington movie. The soundtrack. Oh my God. The soundtrack. I would say that that's one of the best soundtracks is out of that movie. Norman Greenbaum. And that's the first thing that comes to my mind, Spirit in the Sky.
Every movie that has Spirit in the Sky in it is a great movie. Everyone that I've ever come across that has that song in it, I'm like, first of all, it gives me chills as soon as it comes on. But then it's just like, because something awesome is about to happen.
Yeah. I mean, they had like Temptation songs. They had a long cool woman in a black dress.
As a matter of fact, that's one of my favorite songs ever.
I like
and
that
that's
song
in that
too.
it's in that movie.
The Hollies,
yeah, the Hollies, yeah.
And they even had Peace Train from Cat Stevens. And you know how much I like Cat Stevens.
But do you know that the song "The Titan Spirit" from this film is an actual instrumental medley taken from different moments when Coach Boone would be giving inspirational speeches, and they actually, the New York Yankees played that song when they received their rings for the 2009 World Series championship, and the Mets played that song at a commemorative event to close Shea Stadium.
Oh, when they did that. Okay.
Yeah. And furthermore, it was also used during the 2008 Democratic National Convention. And after Barack Obama won, it was used immediately following his victory speech in 2008. I know. Awesome. So that song, it's big deal.
Yeah. Holds up.
Yeah.
He has a movie that was just released on Apple Plus that's called The Tragedy of Macbeth.
Yeah, I saw the little thing for that. That looks good.
He has done a lot of Shakespeare.
He did Much Ado About Nothing.
Othello, Julius Caesar. Yep.
I mean, he's so good.
I know. I mean, some of these movies, Glory, Malcolm X, Pelican Brief. Remember that movie with Julia Roberts? And Philadelphia with Tom Hanks.
Philadelphia. I mean, Philadelphia was
Crimson Tide. I mean,
there are so many movies. The Book of Eli was really good.
Yes.
Really good. Deja Vu was really good. Inside Man, Man on Fire, Training Day.
Man on Fire. Yep.
Man on Fire.
It's one of the only movies I've seen in the movies. I've actually gone to the theater and saw that, Man on Fire.
I've not seen it in the theater, but I've seen it so many times. I love this scene where he's training her in the pool.
Yes.
And he's coaching her on loving the sound of a gunshot. The gunshot set you free, all of that stuff. I loved that because he fell in love with this little girl that he had to protect. And part of that was just being a dad to her. He was being her father. He was coaching her. And it was just, I love that so much. I loved it.
Me too. And the movie that I told you I had just seen was Pelham 123.
Yeah, I actually had seen that before. I didn't think I had, but I saw it before. I watched it again because it was good.
It's a good movie. Yeah.
It's a good movie. I was a little heartbroken though when you find out that he actually did take the bribe. Yeah. I was like,
too.
Oh
no, not you, Denzel. It can't be.
Yeah.
And he does so many different movies with different big stars like Ryan Reynolds and
that was a good movie that he did with Ryan Reynolds. That one where that was really good. I liked that. That was actually a precursor to another movie that Ryan Reynolds did.
That was Safe House.
Yeah, Safe House was a precursor to another movie that Ryan Reynolds did, The Hitman's Bodyguard. That Safe House movie. It was kind of the same premise of The Hitman's Bodyguard. He did that one with Samuel Jackson.
Actually, that movie that I just watched with John Travolta was the taking of Pelham 123. Yeah, because I know they kept on referencing Pelham 123. Another movie that John Travolta is the villain.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good villain. You know, you get I heard him say that you have more freedom with a villain than you do with a good guy. Of course, you know the parameters are wider for a villain. You get to do a lot more stuff. You get to play because they have their own morality. It doesn't fit into society's morality. So you have more room. So it's got to be fun. You know, it's got to be fun to be able to do that every once in a while.
Yeah. One of my favorite movies is The Hurricane. Have you ever seen that one? I've
seen it. No.
It has to do with, I think part of it is that it's so centered around New Jersey. Is Reuben Hurricane Carter was a boxer. And it was a black and white issue that people were just so against Hurricane Carter. They threw him in jail for like no reason. and he's trying to prove that he didn't do it. I mean, Denzel is so good in this movie. And if you know, and it's just so frustrating because it went to court and he kept on fighting for his rights. And the court was just so stacked against him. So the original time that this is an autobiography, and you know, there's three things that I like: true stories, sports, comedies. Okay, this wasn't a comedy, but it had the other two elements. This was Hurricane Carter's autobiography from 1974. And yeah, heartbreaking what this Black man had to go through. It was heartbreaking. He finally got out, thank God.
Yeah.
In real life. But I remember the whole hoopla when I was growing up about this whole thing and how you were supposed to be afraid of this man. It's like, really? He didn't look scary to me, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. I mean, we're told how to feel about people rather than being able to make our own decisions.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, why? Because you say that? And how many times just in my lifetime have people been found guilty that were innocent and have had to work for, 20 years to get themselves out just because they were the wrong color. Oh.
Yeah. That just happened in Louisiana, I believe. And they were waiting for the governor to sign off. And it's like, are you going to sign off on this or what? And it's like, how much longer does this man have to stay in prison until you sign off that he can get out?
Yeah.
Because everybody's saying that he wasn't guilty. And he spent like 30 years in prison. Let the man out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was that kind of frustration. That's the kind of movie that The Hurricane is. So I'd recommend it.
That's the same thing like with Remember the Titans, you know, throwing a brick through the guy's window.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, I know.
You don't even give people a chance. You've decided before they ever arrive. You've decided before you ever interact. And that's
a true story too.
It's a true story. And that's one of the things I like about it. Herman Boone was unconventional and he knew what he was up against, and he forced those kids to integrate. He forced them to sit together. He forced them to learn about each other's lives because he knew that if they actually did, they would find common ground.
One of my favorite scenes on that is when he removes all the kids from the buses.
Yes.
It's like, no more black bus.
Yes.
No more black and white bus. No. Offense all on one, defense all on the other.
Exactly. Because that's so powerful. That's such a small thing to do, but it was so incredibly powerful.
I love that part.
To do that stuff, you know, and you have all the parents sitting there like, what the hell? What the hell? But I'm sorry. That's what it takes. It takes somebody in a position of power to say,
courage.
We're not going to do this. Yeah. We're not going to do this. No, we're going to do this instead because this is the better thing to do. And they changed that town. They led the way, those boys, with being able to unify a whole town.
Yeah. Great movie. I like him.
I like him too. I like him in a lot of movies. I wish I had enough time to watch all of them.
Yeah, I know.
Before we did this, because they're just so good. You like watch one, you're like, oh. And then he was in another movie with Clive Owen that I love, Inside Man. I love that movie. You know, there are so many. It's hard to pick.
Yeah, I mean, action stuff. Manchurian Candidate too. That's another good movie.
Yeah, he's good in everything. There's nothing.
I think he makes things better too.
Absolutely.
Denzel was on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert a few months back promoting his new movie, The Tragedy of Macbeth. And Colbert brought up Denzel's mother, who just passed. She was 97.
Oh.
And by the way, she was an actress. She was in Malcolm X.
Oh.
Yeah. So Denzel said something that made me think of your dad.
Okay.
He said, and I want to get this right.
Okay.
A mother is a son's first true love. A son, especially a first son, is a mother's last love. And it kind of applies to you too, with the little guy.
It absolutely does.
I thought that was awesome that he brought that up. And
I can see that's true. With my son,
I think it's true. Sure.
Yeah, with my son, definitely like
it's true with your dad.
there is nobody on this earth that means more to me than my son.
Sure.
Nothing, nobody, I'd burn the world down for him.
Sure.
And I know that I would have done that for my dad.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I thought
my dad and my son are very similar. They are not, neither one of them were easy. They are very difficult children. They're very difficult. They definitely put you through your paces. They push you to your limit. So they're very similar that way. But I know there's nothing my dad ever did that my grandmother still wouldn't do anything for him for.
Yep. So more so, Colbert brought out an old photo of Denzel holding one of his Oscars and his mom standing next to him.
Oh.
When Denzel saw that, he got all choked up.
Oh.
So he took a second and then he told Colbert that he didn't cry at her funeral. And Colbert said, "Why do you think?" And he said, "Well, I guess I saved it up for you." So they had a nice little laugh. And, I thought it was just unusual that someone actually admitted that he didn't cry at his own mother's funeral.
I can see that though, because you kind of steel yourself, don't you? You prepared for it, you know what's happening, and you bolster yourself to get through it. But on something like this, it's not that you're blindsided, but it kind of catches you a little bit unaware.
Right.
So it's more a vulnerable moment. But he's a great guy. He's a genuine person, and so I'm not surprised.
He's had so many awards. I mean, 2 Academy Awards, a bunch of Golden Globes.
Do you know he has a degree in journalism?
Yes. He even has a Tony Award. Screen Actors Guild Awards, NAACP Awards, MTV Awards. I mean,
he's
the list
awesome.
goes on. Won in many categories, nominated in a slew of categories.
Sure.
This is some actor.
He's incredible. He's also got an incredible sense of humor. First of all, I saw him on Graham Norton a couple of times. He's on Graham Norton, and he's a junior.
Yes.
And his father, his name is actually Denzel.
Okay.
But since he shares a name with his father, whenever his mother would call them, they would both come. So she started calling him Denzel.
I like that better.
Yeah, me too. So Graham's like, are you Denzel? Should I be calling you Denzel? And he's like, I'm a Denzel. So he's like, Denzel. He's like, no, Denzel. He's like, am I not saying that? He's like, Denzel. and Graham Norton's like, gives him this look like, he's like, yeah, Denzel. It's Denzel. He was busting his chops over it, which I thought was hilarious. But on Philadelphia, when they were doing that movie Philadelphia, and Tom Hanks lost all that weight, and they were sitting in the courtroom. Denzel would be busting he would be busting his chops, like leaving candy bars. He would sneeze, and like a whole bunch of Almond Joy would come out, or he would order pizza and send it to him.
Oh no. Oh my God.
That's awesome. Yeah. What a great guy. All right. We're going to switch gears. We're going to do a different one.
All right. I'm ready.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, are you going to do your favorite actor?
Yeah, I'm going to do my favorite actor.
Should I guess?
No. My favorite D actor, and this is a D in the last name, is Robert Downey Jr.
I knew it.
And he actually is a favorite. He actually is. He was born in Manhattan.
Yes.
Most people think of him as a West Coast kind of person, but he was born in Manhattan.
Did they move out to the West Coast?
They did. Yeah, he kind of grew up there.
Yeah.
Senior, his dad, was a writer, director, and filmographer. So the first film that RDJ was in was called Pound, and he was 5 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was written and directed by his father. He's been in a ton of movies. It would be ridiculous to sit here and list them all. But I do want to mention very briefly Back to School. Yes, I do.
There you go.
Yes, I do. Because Rodney Dangerfield is also a D. He was Derek Lutz in this movie. And it was really the first time I kind of fell in love with him as an actor.
He was so funny in Back to School.
Good.
And Back to School is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah. Mine too. I watched it the other day. It was so good. And what I find incredible about it is that he and Rodney Dangerfield got along real well, which you kind of wouldn't think they would because their styles are really different. Okay. But they got along really well. So that's really cool.
I could see that.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. 1991, Soap Dish was another movie.
Sally Field.
Yeah. And Kevin Kline.
Kevin Kline. That's right. Kevin Kline.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just so funny, this movie. So funny. But in 1992, he received an Academy Award nomination and he won the BAFTA for his performance in Chaplin. He played Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
And it was an incredible movie. There's another one that's based on a true story there. It was from Charlie Chaplin's autobiography. They took a lot of that information.
Right.
And just to see the lengths that he went to embody that character. I mean, that was a very, very physical role. Charlie Chaplin was a very physical comedian. And just seeing him do these flips, he did everything himself, doing these flips and falling on his back. He did everything. So he learned how to play the violin for it. He learned how to play tennis left-handed. I mean, he really went all in for this movie.
Well, you really should. You really should. I mean, you know.
One of my favorite movies is Home for the Holidays, and it was done in 1995 with Holly Hunter, and Jodie Foster directed it. And I love that movie. It's about a dysfunctional family, but it was such a great movie. And this is a movie where he references all the time that Jodie Foster kind of wrote him. He was super into drugs at this point, you know?
Oh, no kidding.
Super into it. And she wrote him a note saying, every take of this movie was brilliant. You did a great job, but it's not always going to be the case. So, you know, please kind of straighten yourself out.
Yeah.
And he references that letter all the time, you know, saying how gracious she was. She didn't have to do that, but she did. And he just couldn't. He was not ready. And from 1996 to 2001 was a real rough patch for him. He got in a lot of trouble. It was just a really rough time for him. And he actually said that getting over all of this stuff really wasn't that difficult. What was difficult was making the decision to do it. And so he had finally kind of made the decision to do that. And what I love about him is that he doesn't act like that past doesn't exist.
Okay.
He very much does, but it's not a thing that he dwells on. And I love the fact that now when people ask him about it, depending on the context, he will get up and leave.
Really?
You know, yeah, because if he's promoting a movie for kids, he will not discuss it. Yeah, he will not discuss it, you know, which I find to be impeccable. He won't shy away from it if the context is correct, but he won't put up with it if it's not. And I love that about him. You know, he'll just get up and leave. That's so awesome. If you're asking him to do a press junket on Iron Man or the Avengers,
why bring that up? Why bring stuff like that's
exactly. So
they just want a reaction.
Yeah, they just want to turn a knife or try to dig into you and make you out to be not all that you are. It's like no,
it doesn't work that way.
No. He won a Golden Globe and a Screen Actors Guild Award for Ally McBeal. And now he's played the role of Tony Stark, Iron Man, 10 times.
Has he really?
10 times. And 6 of those 10 films have grossed over $1 billion.
Wow.
At the box office worldwide.
Wow.
I mean, can you imagine being in 6 movies that have made more than $1 billion?
Wow. That's incredible.
Tony Stark and Iron Man started it all in 2008. They started the cinematic universe for Marvel, and that was Jon Favreau insisted on having him be Tony Stark. And Jeff Bridges was in that movie, Gwyneth Paltrow. So great stuff there. But this movie, he got an Academy Award nomination for Tropic Thunder. Did you see that? Have you seen that movie?
I have. It's just... you know, to me, that movie is just under the category of ridiculous. just ridiculous.
Well, it's a satire.
Oh, I know.
And so they're poking fun. It's the Ben Stiller character, Jack Black.
Yes.
Downey. They're poking fun at these actors that take things just way too far, way too seriously.
Yeah.
But I love that movie.
Silly.
It's silly.
Just so silly.
Yeah.
Sometimes over the top silly, but I get it.
Yeah. That you're going to have that with him. But one of my very favorite roles of his, besides,
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock. Yeah.
I knew it.
Holmes. Yeah.
I knew it.
I love Sherlock Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
I love the stories.
Me too.
And having him play Sherlock Holmes was just like, I mean, even thinking about it right now after all this time, that excites me.
Yeah.
He does a great job. He does a great job.
Absolutely.
Guy Ritchie movie with Jude Law, Rachel McAdams, and he won a Golden Globe from that. But to help him get over his issue with addiction, he began studying Wing Chun Kung Fu.
Really?
Yes.
That's what helped him build up and stuff?
Yes. I mean, discipline, gave him something to do, focus himself, meditation, yoga, all that stuff. I mean, he's really into that. And his teacher, Eric Oram, is actually the fight and martial arts consultant on Sherlock Holmes. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, that works.
Yeah. Really good. And in 2020, he announced the decision to go vegan, citing the fact that his carbon footprint was too big. And he also opened the Footprint Coalition, which is an organization launched to reduce carbon footprints around the world using technologies like insect farming, bio-based plastic alternatives, and bamboo toilet paper. Yeah, I know.
Very interesting.
Yes. He also sings really well. He's made an album and he loves Sting. And he sang at Sting's birthday party and it was awesome. He did a really good job.
Wasn't Sting on Ally McBeal with him? An episode or something like that? Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. They did that too. Yeah, but it was really good. He's a really good singer. I didn't know that about him until a couple of years ago, and it really shocked me. He as good a singer he is. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to bring him up.
He's one of my favorites. For real. Like for real.
Like for real.
Like for real.
I think he's your favorite actor, period.
That's probably true. Probably true. Yeah. I do have a special place for him. Let's move on to our favorite singers.
Sounds good to me.
First up is
drum roll, please.
Bongo roll.
Oh, bongo roll. Yeah, bongo roll, please.
Okay. It's got to be David Bowie.
It is.
It's got to be. Born David Robert Jones, January 8th, 1947. Davy Jones.
Davy Jones.
He went by Davy Jones when he was younger.
He did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Thank God he changed that, or he would have been a monkey.
Yeah. I do like the monkeys.
I love the monkeys. Yeah. Don't get me started on the monkeys.
I know, me too.
1969, really. Space Oddity was a big deal because they wanted to release it before Apollo 11 moon landing. So it was released before the album. Had a very slow start, but is now considered to be one of his finest recordings and most popular song. It is on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame list, 500 songs that shape rock and roll. As a matter of fact, 4 of his songs are on that list.
Talk about Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on that list are Fame, Space Oddity, Ziggy Stardust, and Changes.
Love them all.
Love them all.
Yeah.
1972 glam rock era. His alter ego emerged, Ziggy Stardust.
Do you remember when you were little, we used to call you Ziggy?
I do remember that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't like it.
No, I didn't like it because at that time, I didn't understand it.
You didn't know. You were 3.
Yeah.
You were 2.
The only Ziggy that I knew at that time was the cartoon
character.
The little fat cartoon. And I'm like, why the hell are they calling me this?
It had nothing to do with that. It had
nothing to do with that. And I didn't understand that until I was older. And then when I was older, it didn't bother me. You didn't call me Ziggy that much when I was older, but you would call me Zig.
Zig. Yeah.
Yeah. And that didn't bother me at all. Also, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust, or, Ziggy Stardust.
Right. Spiders from Mars.
Yep. Was chosen in 2017. It was selected for preservation in the National Recording Registry, being deemed culturally, historically, and artistically significant by the Library of Congress.
Nice.
Yeah. And on this album is one of my favorite songs, Suffragist City.
Suffragist City.
Yeah.
Love that one.
Love it.
What is your favorite song from Bowie?
From Bowie?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I don't have one. There are too many to pick a favorite.
There's a lot.
Blue Jean. I love Blue Jean. I love
too.
Young Americans. I love
Changes.
Changes.
Yep.
Yeah, Jean Genie. I mean, there are so many. I don't know that.
Fashion.
No, that's not one of my favorite songs.
Oh,
no.
I like that. No,
it's not one of my.
You know what people tend to say? Under pressure.
Well, that's a whole thing.
There is a version of Under Pressure that he did with Annie Lennox.
Well, he did that at the Freddie Mercury tribute concert in 1992.
Yeah.
It's a
really good.
Version. Yeah.
And I love Annie Lennox.
Well, he never did.
Talk about Annie Lennox. She's also up for the Eurythmics. Is up for vote. Mm-hmm.
She's brilliant too.
Yep.
That was the first time that David Bowie did that song live. He wouldn't do that song. Queen used it as part of their live show, Under Pressure, but David Bowie didn't while Freddie Mercury was alive.
Uh-huh.
And at the tribute concert is when he first sang it as a duet with Annie Lennox. And now, and then afterwards, he would frequently do it live and dedicate it to Freddie. I mean,
I know. So good.
So good. But the first major crossover success he had with Fame and Young Americans was when he collaborated with John Lennon.
Wow.
And Across the Universe. And Luther Vandross sang backing vocals on Young Americans.
Wow.
Before he was known. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's got a good voice too.
Oh, yeah.
Strong.
But
voice.
I think probably the stuff I'm most familiar with or was growing up was really like the Let's Dance.
I love that.
Yeah.
I really do. Don't get me wrong. I like Diamond Dogs. It's probably my favorite album.
Like Diamond Dogs,
I love Let's Dance. I really do.
I do too. And Stevie Ray Vaughan played lead guitar on this album. And he fought for him too.
Did he?
Because the producer didn't want him. He thought he was too bluesy. And David Bowie's like, we're having him.
Yeah. So good.
And Let's Dance.
Modern Love.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh.
China Girl.
Oh.
Love that movie.
China Girl is actually
that album.
Cover from Iggy Pop. But
yes, you're right.
Yeah. I love that song too. It remains his best-selling album, Let's Dance.
Oh, does it really?
Yeah. It's a great album.
Yeah, it has so many good songs on it. I mean,
so many.
Yeah. That's almost like a greatest hits. That's
as an album itself. But what's interesting is that after that he had a hard time because he felt like he was going to have to pander after that album.
Really? Because it was so commercial?
Yeah, it was so commercial that he was like, oh my God, what do I do? But he remained musically active until his death 2 days after his 69th birthday and the release of his 26th and final studio album, Black Star. Man had 26 studio albums.
Wow.
Sometimes releasing 2 a year.
Wow.
Black Star. He died of liver cancer.
Yeah,
and he won
right after his birthday. That really,
it sucks. Yeah. He knew it was coming. He knew it was
coming. Yeah, that's what I heard.
But he won 5 Grammys for that album. Every category it was nominated and he won. And he also was given a Lifetime Achievement Award Grammy in 2006. Yeah. He was incredible.
He was.
During his lifetime, he sold over 100 million records, making him one of the best-selling music artists of all time.
One thing I wanted to mention, have you ever heard his version of, I'm sure you have, because it comes out every Christmas, Little Drummer Boy with Bing Crosby?
Yeah.
The story is that Bing Crosby wanted to do this duet with someone, and one of his sons came home and said, hey, there's this new artist. His name is David Bowie. He said, he might be good. It's his kid, it's Bing Crosby's kid, who suggested that he would do the duet with him.
That's incredible.
That's Christmas to me.
In 1996, Rolling Stone named him among the greatest artists in history. Yeah. And after his death, the greatest rock star ever.
Oh,
he's got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was a painter and an artist. He was a prolific producer and collector of contemporary art. I remember this happening, and I thought he was so cool at the time. I was young at the time, but I remember seeing it. In 1983, he criticized MTV for not having enough coverage of Black musicians.
No kidding.
And I remember that, and I remember it so vaguely. And then later I saw it, and I was like, he was a great guy. You know, he was technologically advanced. He was a great producer. He understood music. He was a genius collaborator. Yeah. He also turned down a CBE and a knighthood. He's like, no, thank you. Can you imagine? He's like, no, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Who does that, right?
And who does that? John Lennon does that. John Lennon did that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this.
Such a rebel.
I know.
Such a rebel.
You tore your dress. In 1986, he was Jareth, the Goblin King in Labyrinth. Do you remember that movie? Oh my
God, yes,
I loved that movie.
Did you? Wow.
Loved it. I love David Bowie, so I love that movie. I do too.
I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah. He was in a couple movies. He was in a couple movies, but that one was the one. Mm-hmm. Childhood too.
Yeah.
But he was so cool.
Absolutely. I have a cool little story. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
A couple years before he was going to propose to Iman, they were in Florence, and they had passed this one store, and she had seen a ring that she really liked a lot, but they walked away. You know, she didn't buy it or whatever. So when he wanted to propose to her, he flew back to Florence to look for that ring. The ring was gone.
Oh.
He tracked down the owner of the ring.
Oh my goodness.
Got the ring and proposed with that ring.
Oh my goodness.
Is that sweet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember her saying that he was a gentleman. Like that's the word.
I can see that.
Yeah,
me
too.
See that. Yeah.
Like that was the word for him. He was a gentleman. He was never
good word for a man.
Yeah. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't, he was always polite. He always, he was a gentleman to her the whole time that they were married.
Yeah.
I love that about him.
Yeah.
They got married in 92, I think.
They
got married in 1992.
I think you're right.
Yeah. I miss David Bowie. That one hurt. Too. That one hurt me when he.
I mean, a couple of them, and unfortunately, the older we get, the more we're going to hear this kind of stuff. But he hurt. He hurt a lot.
He hurt a lot.
Yeah. Tom Petty hurt a lot.
Yeah. Prince hurt a lot.
Prince hurt a lot.
Prince hurt a lot.
Yeah, I agree.
Stevie Ray Vaughan went very young. I remember getting the news of him.
Oh yeah. Are you ready to talk about Dolly Parton?
Sure.
Miss Dolly.
Love Miss Dolly.
I do too.
They had a Super Bowl commercial.
Did you see that?
Yeah, with Miley. That's her goddaughter.
That is her goddaughter. Yeah. She was very close to her dad. He would open for her. They have some similar childhoods. They're close friends.
Yeah.
Something about being her fairy goddaughter.
Yeah, fairy godmother.
That she wanted to be her fairy godmother. Yeah, something sweet like that.
Yeah. She's a sweet lady.
She really is. I mean, besides her singing and her acting, of which the one movie that I think of when I think of her acting,
9 to 5, baby.
Oh yeah, what a great movie. But the one thing that has really struck me, and this is recently, is that she gave Moderna $1 million.
Yep.
The COVID-19 vaccine. I mean, how awesome is that?
It's incredible.
Yeah. Did you see her little PSA when she got her shot of Moderna?
I don't think so. No.
She did a little PSA. She was wearing a cold shoulder sweater and got her shot. So her PSA was pretty much her song Jolene.
Which is
and changed
a favorite.
And changed it to vaccine. And she sung it. It was so sweet.
She's awesome.
Yeah. I remember her from way back when she started on Johnny Carson's show. She was always on the Johnny Carson show. And she would make light of, because everybody was bust Johnny Carson chops because he took a lot of time off. And I remembered her one time, she said to him, well, I'm here as much as you are. And she's like, I'm sorry, it's only a joke. And he was like, I get it. You know, but they were friends. And she at one time sung a song for him. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And at the end, he says to her, so I better not see you go on Merv Griffin, because at one point in this song, she said, I owe it all to the Johnny Carson show, or something like that. And he goes, I better not see you on Merv Griffin. And then you plug in Merv Griffin. And she goes, no, I would never do that. I would never do that. But she's just so sweet.
She has a good sense of humor.
Very good. And she laughs at herself all the time.
She does. But she also doesn't take any flack.
Smart lady.
I saw an interview with her. I don't even know. It might have been Barbara Walters trying to give her grief about some of the choices that she's made. Really? And she just wasn't having it. Like, you know,
atta girl.
She just was not having it. And I thought, good for you. Don't let them make you defend the choices that you've made. Those are yours, you know?
Absolutely.
I hate
She's made some great choices in her life.
Well, it was more physical choices, I think.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Whatever.
Yeah. Whatever.
Leave the woman alone. She's a legend. So
not only is she a legend, but she's a damn good person.
She really is.
I mean, how dare you?
Yeah. Who would do all this philanthropy stuff? She doesn't have to, but she does that in the kindness of her heart.
She does.
This is what she does. I got to tell you this one little story. When Barack Obama was on Stephen Colbert, and Colbert asked him, why doesn't Dolly Parton have the Presidential Medal of Freedom? And Obama says, that's a mistake. And he kind of assumed that she did. That next week, she was on she was on one of the shows, one of the morning shows with Hoda and one of the Bush twins. Yeah. And they had talked about that Barack Obama had said that was a mistake. And she said, you know, she just took it in stride. And she said, well, to be honest, she said that the previous administration that we just had tried to give her the medal 2 times. And the one time her husband was having surgery, you know, she couldn't accept it. And then the second time that they asked her, it was COVID. Oh. So what happened was that when Colbert asked Barack, he said, I'll give Biden a call. Anyway, Dolly Parton said the Biden administration contacted her, and she kind of feels funny now that she doesn't want this to turn political. Yeah. But she deserves it. She does. She deserves it. Yeah. I mean, it's like, put the political stuff aside. I don't care who thinks that they're going to criticize her. She deserves it. Yeah, she does. Yeah, she should just go ahead and go accept it.
Well, she has donated 10 million books to kids so they can learn to read, underprivileged children.
That's fantastic.
And she has said that her father couldn't read.
Yeah.
And he was very embarrassed by it.
Yes.
And so it's a priority for her. And, you know, this is her heart's work as well, you know?
Yeah.
And in addition to that, Herson Enterprises, partner owner of Dollywood, just announced it would cover 100% of tuition, fees, and books for its 11,000 employees to pursue further education through Guild Education, the nation's leading upskilling platform. That is an incredible thing.
Unbelievable. Yeah. What a great lady. I mean, these are the kind of people that I love to look up to.
Absolutely. They are pillars of our community, real pillars.
Yeah.
Who are leaders and who are heroes. Actually, they are people to look up to because they walk the walk. They don't just talk about stuff.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And the CEO, Andrew Wexler, said, "Futures should be grown through love, not loans," and that is so true. Yeah. Everybody who goes to school is doing so with the hope to better their future, and more than half the time, it doesn't make their future any brighter because they walk out of school with a massive student debt on their shoulders that they carry for the next 20 years.
Sure. It's hard.
Unbelievable. So this is a wonderful program. And thank you, Dolly.
Yes,
absolutely. For being this leader in this community.
Yep. There's a way to pay her back. And let me explain. She is one of the artists who are nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But you have to go on vote.rockhall.com and vote for her. Oh, and by the way, while you're voting for her, please vote for Pat Benatar.
Yes.
Because Pat Benatar has been snubbed so many times.
Yes.
And
she's incredible too.
She is incredible. But Dolly is on the ticket. Mm-hmm. So please go ahead and vote for her, because it's a way we can all can try to pay her back. And all her writing skills. I mean, she could just write a song in seconds. She's kind of like Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
Paul McCartney can just sit at the piano and just kick one out. Mm-hmm. She can do the same. Exactly.
She's wonderful. Her songs are brilliant. Her voice is wonderful. Every time I hear Islands in the Stream, it just makes me feel so good inside. I think that's what her music does. It makes you feel good. And it doesn't matter if you're into country. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
She's written like universal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I Will Always Love You.
Oh, what a brilliant song. And her singing it is beautiful too.
Yes. And I like her singing it too.
Yeah. It's beautiful. Yeah. It's beautiful. And it's a delicate
Not just
version.
The Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
I mean, Whitney Houston did a phenomenal version, but don't get me wrong, but I love Dolly's version.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I think a lot of people forget that Dolly has a version, and it's really beautiful.
Or forget that she wrote it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
I love her. I just love her.
Too. And I love 9 to 5. I love that movie.
She's so good in that.
She's so sassy in it.
Yeah. All three of them were great in that movie.
They were great.
Yeah.
But
and how you rooted for them,
Oh, yeah.
It was like, yes.
Yeah. When she hog ties Dabby Coleman,
she came in with a rope.
Yeah.
That was just so true to that character.
Yeah. When she's threatening to shoot him in the crotch
with her gun. Oh my goodness. I'm going to turn you from a rooster into a hen. I loved her. I loved her in that. I loved her in Steel Magnolias. I thought she was great in Steel Magnolias.
She was.
I would actually like to see her return to some of that acting. She's done some movies, but they're a little bit more gospel based. They're a little bit more singing based. And I'd actually like to see her
like do movies.
Just do some
rather than cameo stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much time she has, or if she has a desire, but if you have a desire,
she's 76
Dolly,
now.
we'd be willing to see you. So what?
Oh, I know.
So what? She's still kicking butt.
She is. She looks phenomenal, and she always wears high heels.
Always. She's always dressed to the nines.
Yeah.
She's perfect. She's perfect, Dolly.
I know. So what do you think, Z? Should we wrap this up?
We got down and dirty with some D's.
I think we did. All right. So we appreciate you listening. With that, we're out of here.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next week.